My mom's coming at 11.
I'm gonna be there.
She's gonna put her fake face on. Like, oh my god, she's so bad at home. My bitch bad. No one understands how black mothers are. They're really
How
annoying.
Mexican mothers are.
I do know how Mexican mothers are. They're so nice and when you cuss they don't even care because they can't understand you.
Wait, what? What kind of Mexican mom have you met?
I lived with one. She was so nice.
She's not nice no more?
You know, it's different. My mom, the person that lives now, is mad at me. Because I gave an attitude and I talked back to her. Because I'm like, you always come to me acting like I did something wrong. And he's like, shut up. I said, no, I don't have to shut up. He said, get your black ass outside. I'm like, okay, you're doing your damn phone. Okay. Shut the hell up and stop talking back to me. I was outside for like an hour.
Why?
She kicked me out.
Hot.
Yeah.
Kick me out for an hour.
What did you do?
I talked back to her. And she was nasty.
You talk about some Mexican mom, she'll be like, she'll hit you.
My mom doesn't hit me.
She runs mouth.
My mom does. My real mom does. My aunt too will slap the shit out of me because I'm trying to seek out. But she ain't gonna pay for my teeth to get replaced.
We gotta call it CPS.
I did once. Because she banged my head against the damn bed. Like, what to do? I said, oh, hell no, I'm calling CPS on your ass. And she's like, go ahead and do it. I'm gonna let their ass take you too. I'm like, good. You're gonna go get my check too. That's what you get my checks. No, she said, I was sleeping and she said, wake your ass up. I'm like, I'm up. She's like, no, get your ass up out the bed. Yeah, I was gonna pop her in the throat. I did once, but then I got my ass kicked again. So my mom says if I get in a fight and I don't fight back, she's gonna beat my ass. Well, between us, you is fighting, so I'm gonna beat your ass until you mine. If I lose a fight, it's bad. I'm gonna lose 2 fights. Shit. My people are crazy. I've never lost a fight. I know that for a fact.
Bro, I hit that side that we so hard yesterday.
I know. That's what affected me on her. Yeah, anyway, she did this like. I was trying not to laugh so hard.
Well, I hit that so hard my knuckles too. Like I was bleeding.
Ew.
I've been watching that for a long time. And you were trying not to laugh? What do you mean? You don't want to try not to laugh or let other people laugh?
Nicole was laughing. I'm here for a while.
Jennifer.
The girl sitting there.
Oh.
You should have just asked her if you could sit there because that's your seat. She would have got up.
I had other things in my head, but I get angry pretty fast.
You want some yogurt?
Probably ate a little bit.
No, I didn't. It's still full.
Nope, not here either.
What are you looking for?
My spandoli.
Is it over there?
Well, no,
Your what?
my Spanish.
It's been Julie.
What do you call it? Your buddy?
No, she just in this class for no reason.
For real?
Suck Jennifer? You gonna go in that class? Sit right here. It's not, no, see. Someone's sitting there.
Where?
Right there.
This is my stuff.
Is that your back?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, don't worry about him. He just has issues. I'm like, he could have just asked for the chair.
I wasn't out of the chair.
You act like because you gave somebody your favorite steak wood. Like, that's me.
I
That's
don't
me.
care.
What are you mad for?
Are we still arguing about that?
No, it's just hella funny. He banged the window. Now he has a brace on it.
Oh, good job.
That shit don't hurt. Like, it didn't hurt. And, like, you know how you're angry and, like, you punch it, it doesn't hurt?
Yeah, sure.
Like,
Your adrenaline. You get hella mad and you just use all your damn force, and then at the end you're like, oh shit, I shouldn't have done that.
Nah, I wasn't like that. Why does shit taste spicy?
What the fuck? They did something with it. Man, yesterday I was trying to order some food, right?
So they don't get the blue one, right?
Ew, I don't like that one. It has seeds in it.
What?
It has seeds in it. The raspberries. Raspberries have these tiny ass seeds in there. I don't like raspberries. But I was trying to order some food off. Oh my god. Kill it. That shit's hella big.
What is it?
A big ass spider.
Did you kill it?
Yes. Listen, Wallace picked up the spider and we were like,
Damn, I should have picked it up and gave it to you.
Bitch.
Who called the bitch? Don't joke right here.
TV picked up my spider.
Mr. Wallace, we just killed the spider.
Good morning. It's not that.
So much attitude in that one.
Good morning, Mr.
Do you see what she's doing out of respect for you? I think that deserves an
I
out.
wasn't mad over that.
Oh. Do you see? He says he wasn't mad over that. Now, see, sometimes what we misunderstand one another. What's that?
Is it a problem?
Okay, hey, let me tell you guys a joke.
Oh boy.
Just,
Don't look at me.
let me tell you a joke. Hey, no, you guys don't have to laugh. I mean, if you find it funny, you can laugh.
I just thought it was nasty.
So this guy got this invitation to go to a park. Excuse me. Thank you. This guy got an invitation to go to a party. So it's a costume party.
Are you invited?
Yeah, so he tells his girlfriend, she said, hey, what are you going to go as? And he says, you know what, I got an idea, we're going to go as a snail.
You gonna go to the snow?
He's going to go as a snail. So she said, okay. So it's the day of the party, and he says, so did you get snail costume? He says, no, hop on my back, we're going to go. Okay, so they go to the party, and his friend's like, hey, Jim, what's up? You know, and he says, yeah, Jim, I think that you remember this was supposed to be a costume party, right? And he goes, yeah. He says, I've come as a snail. And he says, no, you haven't. You got some woman on your back. And he goes, yeah, this is Michelle.
That's my mom's name.
Her again? Let me go on the joke.
Isn't that a good joke? All right, hey, I did not take roll.
We should do
I
that.
don't even do that.
You guys want SID today?
Yeah.
Economics SID?
Sure.
You guys have been, okay, listen, we will, but I want to do a quick review, main concepts, okay? So, I'm going to ask you questions and you guys are going to answer them with terms. So here we go. Devin, I'm going to start with you. If you're opening a small business by yourself, you get to enjoy all of the profits. You could employ who you want, however you want, obviously, as long as it's within the letter of the law. What kind of business do you own out of these types? Is that a corporation, a business franchise, a cooperative, or a sole proprietorship? Excellent job. Andrew, you... No. No. Okay. That's Speed Racer's backpack. Andrew, Speed Racer, go.
I have the biggest crush on Speed Racer.
You
Oh,
guys
here we
have
go.
some-
Now look what you starting with.
It's
Well,
Speed
I
Racer.
like
That's
in
good.
fifth
One
grade.
more
I
ball
wish
started.
Speed Racer
Mr. Wallace,
was
you
real.
should have said speeding and golf.
Speed Racer
That's not
in
funny.
his car.
Excuse me. Andrew, you are a member, along with a bunch of people, of a grocery store. You volunteer there once a month. For that volunteer work, you get a 10% discount on all of your groceries throughout the year. You're a member of this service. You guys do not make any money off of it. You just get to reap the benefits of being part of this business. What kind of business are you? Are you a corporation, a business franchise, a cooperative, a nonprofit, or a sole proprietorship? Oh, and you're really connected to your community. That's the other caveat. Thank you. This is for Ty. Immediately. CD. Look at you, are so happy.
No, tell me I thought that was Angel.
Oh, yeah, you know, I did too.
I brought it up.
I was like, what?
Excuse me, Andrew. What kind of business? No, excellent. You are part, no. Now I want to get this, let me get the review done and then we can do it. Cooperative, very good. Nico. You're a business. You started off as a sole proprietorship. Your business has grown a lot. You've made many, many profits. You have grown so much that you feel that you no longer want to be liable for every decision, everything that happens that's associated with this business. So you change it from a sole proprietorship. In addition, you have now gone public, and you're going to start selling shares of your business where people in the public can buy shares, which requires you to meet once a year to talk to these shareholders, okay? And you have to tell them about how the business is doing, what the profits are. You have to report this stuff in your taxes so that they know they can make informed decisions about whether or not they want to remain shareholders in your business. What kind of business is it? Excellent. Ernesto, you really like
I don't like whatever you're
Samantha's business. It's Samantha's Pretzels. Okay. Ernesto, please work with me. Samantha's Pretzel. You may not like pretzels, but you like the business model, and you want in on the action. So you want to buy your own Samantha's Pretzels business. You want to set up a shop right across the street from Rio Americano High School. In order to do this, you have to agree to the conditions. You're going to sell the same product. You're going to use the same business model. And you're going to, part of your profits, a small percentage is going to go to Samantha, who started this business, Samantha Pretzels. What kind of business is that? Is it a cooperative, franchise, corporation, sole proprietorship, or nonprofit?
Corporation.
No.
Wait, isn't that what you share and stuff? Like you said, profit, right?
Uh-huh. No. So let me tell you something. Actually, corporations, this kinds of business that I'm talking about right now, can have a corporate headquarters. So in a sense it is, but we've already covered corporations. Okay? You are buying her business. You are buying her name. You're going to use the same business model and sell the same product. But you're just not going to do it in, let's say she started in Oakland. You're going to do it here in Sacramento. You want to open up shop here in Sacramento. What kind of business is that? Just like,
Cooperative.
nope. That's okay. We already went through cooperatives. Okay, the problem with cooperative is that this is for profit. You have can anyone help them out?
Franchise?
It's a franchise. You're buying a franchise.
Wait, but it's not a parent company. Like,
What's that? Yeah, hers is the parent company. So what this means is it has a parent company. She's the parent company. You're selling the same brand name and trademark, standardized goods and services. That's why I said you're selling the same products.
That's confusing.
Okay, sorry to confuse you. That's on me. I'm a confusing person. My name is Mr. Barlow. Whoops. I just confused you. My name is Wallace. I don't even know who I am some days. All right, so we've gone through basically corporations, cooperatives, business franchises, sole proprietorships, and a nonprofit. My sister works for a nonprofit. It's called PAM. It's the Pesticide Action Network. And they get their money from grants, and they get their money from donations. And they cannot make profits off their money. They cannot go public and sell shares. They do not sell a product. They provide a service. Okay? So she goes to communities like in Iowa, farming communities, and she teaches farmers about the dangers of pesticides and how they can conduct farming without the use of pesticides. So say Libby wants to start a small organic strawberry farm here in the Sacramento Valley, and she starts it off in the first year, a couple acres, they're producing strawberries, but a lot of her profits are being eaten by bugs. And she's like, I don't, man, without pesticides, I don't know how to control this. She might call my sister at PAM and say, hey, can I have you come and advise me, work as a consultant? Now, they might charge you some money, but that money is going to go back into the business so they can continue to provide the service. They're not going to charge you the money, and then my sister is going to be able to get in her Ferrari and drive off. Because she doesn't make enough money because it is a not-for-profit organization. Okay, that doesn't mean though that you can't get a salary by working for a nonprofit. Some people get paid some pretty lucrative salaries. But typically, you're not going to make as much as, because she's a biologist, if she was going to work in what they call corporate, if she was going to work for a pesticide company, she could make a hell of a lot more money. I mean, like maybe hundreds of thousands as opposed to what she makes. Okay? So those are the kinds of businesses. Let's talk. You guys are all working right now. You guys are all working jobs. You have an income. Okay? You make $10 an hour, Samantha. You get to keep all that money, all $10 an hour. So in one day, let's say you work 10 hours in one day, you get $100. Are you going to take home $100? No. What's going to happen to your $100?
Yeah, we'll go to the business.
Nope. No, you work for the company. You don't own the company. You're going to get taxes, right? And what do the taxes pay for, Samantha? Things like what?
Government.
There you go. Government. That's the big one that your taxes pay for. Government, infrastructure. I mean, your taxes entirely pay for the government. Okay? All right. So, your taxes, and just so you guys know, from now on, when we start doing, you guys are going to do computations. I'm going to say, hey, you make $10 an hour, you're working full-time based on a traditional full-time schedule. How much are you going to make a month? And you guys have to be able to do this. And we're going to review this when we come back from the break on Monday. Okay? But in the meantime, it's typically the taxes are going to be at about 15%. So what's 15% of $100? You guys know? Off the top of your head, 15% of $100. 10% would be $10, so what would 15% be? $15, very good. So that means how much are you taking home? I worked 10 hours, I made $100, but I'm taking home, how much, Libby? I just had 15% deducted from my $100 for the day. And they just said it. 10% would be $10. Close, but no cigar. How much? You come home with $85. Now that 15%. Now obviously you guys represent some workers here in America, and there are millions. No, there are hundreds of millions of workers. So obviously that's a lot of money to deal with, right? 100 million, hundreds of millions of paychecks to deal with. So there is a governmental organization that deals with these taxes. Devin, what is that governmental organization called? Who manages your taxes for the government? It is a branch of the government, oh, by the way. 3 letters. What are the 3 letters?
IRS.
Thank you, Devin. Okay, Devin. Well, I mean, you know. Hey,
Thank you, Lord.
1 second, please. Might be the IRS.
Well, I better hope not.
Oh,
I ain't afraid of no IRS.
Yeah. It's not.
Are you kidding me? You don't ever have to apologize. Talk to me. Gotcha. Thank you. Are you guys fine with, so my question is, because in the past, there have been instances where he didn't report, I just thought maybe just to, on the up and up, just, and an email is fine, you know? Hey, if it's a hassle, I have no problem, just, he checks in first period, I'm fine. So you tell me, how would you like to handle it? That's fine. And you can even, I'm fine with an email at the end of the day. Okay. Yes. Dave already talked to you. Yeah. And Daichi said he wanted to start in your room. Something about he's going to do like a 2-page essay about music. Yep. Cool. Peace. Jenny, before I forget, oh Jenny. Happy birthday. I know. Trevor found it. Okay, where was I? Oh, Libby said IRS, Devin. Excuse me. We're back to this thing. Libby said IRS, what does IRS stand for? God, that's so freaking enough. What does it stand for? Okay, help him out. Somebody else. What's it stand for?
Internal revenue service.
Internal Revenue Service. Okay? I'm going to assume people, so I'm just going to tell you guys this. How do they manage your money? The IRS manages your money through what form? Nope. That's good though. An accountant does. The IRS employs a lot of accountants. Okay? Nope. An audit, here's the form. You guys ready for this? Your tax return. They're going to manage it through your tax return. That's how they know how much money, because you're going to report out how much money. Now, here's what happens, okay? Tyler, if there's a red flag, okay? A red flag, like you're not reporting money that they think you should be reporting, then they're going to conduct an audit. So basically, an audit is to check. They're checking to see if you're reporting honestly, okay? Here, I'll give you guys an example. About 8 years ago, a parent donated $1,500 to me. Said, this is for you, Mr. Wallace, spend it however you want. Yes, gave me $1,500, okay? And so what I did is I kept all the receipts, so I made sure that all of that money went only to the classroom and to my students. That I didn't take any of that money home, because I already make so much money being an underwear model. So, I kept all of my receipts in case someone at some point said, hey Wallace, what did you spend this money on? I have every single receipt right there. And then once I used up all of $1,500, I took all of those receipts and I gave them to our financial lady. Okay? So if someone wanted to check on me, that's what we would call an audit. You do not want to get audited. Okay? Now, typically, most people don't get audited. Most people who report honestly, and so there's usually red flags. But here's what's going to red flag you. If you get a bunch of money, so if you guys ever come into $10,000, let's say someone in the family dies, or you're walking down the street and you find $10,000 and you go, oh, nice, I'm gonna put this in my bank. Boom, you're gonna get an audit. The IRS is gonna call you. The bank is gonna report it to the IRS. They might even report it to the DEA. You guys know who the DEA is?
Yeah, it's like drug
Enforcement Agency. Because they're gonna automatically assume that kind of money being put in the bank unreported is probably tied to drugs.
Because don't they think that how much you make normally, or how much you put in the bank, that's how much you think is legit. But if you put more than what you make, they're obviously gonna, expect the money and stuff like that, right?
Yeah. That's why people launder money. You guys ever heard of money laundering?
Yes.
Do you know what money laundering is? You don't know? Okay, let me send out this email.
Can you overdraw?
What's that?
Can you overdraw money that you don't have?
No. That's an overdraft. Money laundering is a lot of, have you guys ever gone down El Camino? And off of El Camino, right at Bell, right near there, there's an old all-girls Catholic high school. You guys know about that school?
No.
Okay. That school, your sister went there.
Arriving.
Do you know that?
Arrival.
Yeah. Here, let me send out this email.
Might as well just tell the whole business.
No. His sister had nothing to do. There's nothing. She went there. Who sent you? What do you mean you don't know? Why are you here? Is it for Spanish? Is it a test? Is it a test? Oh, who sent you for a test? Then why do you say you don't know? You were sent from Mr. Asher sent you to take a test. I got you. That's fine. One second.
Just 1 second.
Okay, so here's what money laundering is. When you make a lot of money, you have a business, you got to report it. And where the mob is really involved in, especially the old kind of Italian mobs of mafia, they're really involved in construction industry, okay? They got a lot of these big construction contracts and they were getting them. So for example, they would, in the city of Chicago, big city, right? Tallest building in the United States, used to be the tallest building in the world, was the Sears Tower in Chicago. Hey, can you put your phone away? Thank you. And they would take this money. What they would do is they would go to, say, the mayor's office, and Libby's working at the mayor's office, and I'd be like, yo, Libby, I got this contract. Make sure it gets signed. And what they would do is that they would kind of apply pressure on elected officials who are not supposed to show favoritism, and all of a sudden, all these mafiosos are getting contracts. They're building things, and those contracts are worth millions and millions and millions of dollars to build buildings. Okay? Now, they don't want to have to report this money, right? Because I'm going to get taxed. First of all, it's going to alert the IRS, and it's going to alert the federal government, the FBI, that why is this one company that happens to be run by someone we think is a mafia boss, why do they keep getting these contracts here in the city of Chicago? So here's what they did. They started funneling money to different organizations, and because it was a mafia family and they were tied to the Catholic Church, they laundered their money through Loretto High School. So Loretto High School existed now. It was a long time. It was a high school here in Sacramento. Then one day it just closed like that. You remember that? One day your sister has school, the next day they're getting a letter saying, we gotta close our doors.
Ooh, can they do that here?
I missed what happened.
I'm explaining how people launder money. So this was a Chicago mob boss
Through Loretto?
through Loretto High School.
That's weird.
So what they do is they open businesses all over the place. So what a lot of people will do, a lot of people consider right now, they say most of New York, the city of New York, New York City and New Jersey is owned by Russian investors.
Wow.
And they believe that they're laundering money. These Russian investors are laundering money through these businesses in New York. So that's the other way they'll do it is big businesses, corporations will open up a lot of different, what they call LLCs. And there's a lot of people who think that that's a kind of money laundering too. Like you can do it. A lot of people would like to see that loophole closed because it's really your money. I mean, you're one corporation and you're calling all these other little corporations your corporations, but it's really one. So, you know, it's a matter of, it's kind of you guys know what when I say a shell game, you know what that means? You guys ever see like video, old movies of people in New York and they got these shells and they hide a ball under it and they move it around and say, and if you pick it, you get some money. So that's kind of what people do with their money sometimes, okay? And where the government comes in is they're like, look, you make money, you got to pay taxes on it. It's as simple as that. So you don't want to get audited. So remember, if you come into a lot of money and you don't report it, but you think you're going to stick it in the bank, that's why people will hide money. Now, if they want access to the money, they'll launder it through other businesses. Other people will just simply hide it.
But what if you got a lawsuit and you just keep coming to a lot of money? You don't, and you put it on the card.
I don't know. I don't know when you get an income from lawsuits. I don't know how the government views that.
I do.
Okay.
If it's actually loss of work, like let's say you were injured and you lost 2 years of working and you were paid for that, that would be taxed. But if it's paid for just punitive damages, it's non-taxed.
Okay. Even if it's a $5 million
I
lawsuit.
believe it's not non-taxed.
You believe
well, I
it or
don't know.
not?
I've never known anyone who's got $5 million.
And I'm assuming that's what you mean by like if you have a
There
major
might be a
settlement.
certain, there might be a cap, but 100,000 is no tax as long as it's not replacing wages. So if it's considered wages, you pay tax on it.
Well, like say you suddenly fall in the hospital and you break something in your back or something like that.
And you sue the hospital. I don't know.
Then, yeah, like,
It's income,
Yeah.
right? Income, all that means is it's money coming in. So typically it's wages is your income. So most of you will go through your life and your money will be, your income will come from your wages. It's either going to come from wages or it's going to come from the government, through assistance. So, all right. And then, so just so that you know, the most of your money that's being taxed goes to what? Guys, hello, goes to what?
Services.
That's federal income tax. And then you also get payroll taxes. So most of it goes, and that keeps government running, the federal government running. And that includes not just senators and congress people, but that also includes the military. And that includes the various branches of the federal government. Department of Treasury, Department of Interior, Department of Energy, all of these different departments within the federal government. And then underneath, like say the Department of Treasury, you have the Coast Guard, you have the IRS, I believe ATF is under the Department of Treasury. Might be Department of Justice, I don't remember. Okay. And then finally, there's property taxes. So these are the things that you guys, now property taxes will probably happen once you guys own your own house. And you may buy a house, you may get a house from a parent or a family member, you may inherit a house, okay? I had my dad, when he first moved back to the United States, when I was in high school, my senior year of high school, my dad left the country. And he left, and when he came back, he stayed with one of his friends in Oak Park. One of his buddies lived in Oak Park, lived in this really rough neighborhood in Oak Park. And one day, his friend, he ended up being on the run from the police. So his friend said, "Hey, you want my house? I'll sign the deed over, I'll sign the title." My dad was like, "Yeah, sure. What the hell?" And then my dad kind of looked at it, he started thinking about it, he's like, I don't want this house. Oh, I'm not gonna be able to sell. I'm gonna have to pay taxes on it. I'm gonna have to pay garbage and water and all this. He's like, I'll just live in it until someone takes it over. So he stayed there for about a year until the government, people would come around and knock on the door. And where's so-and-so? I don't know. I'm just living here. And then finally the county or the city, whatever it was, took it over. And I'm like, okay, well, it took a while though.
For a year, wow.
Yeah. But he lived, yeah. My dad's a funny guy. All right. Banks, what kind of banks are there? Quick review, 4 types of banks.
Savings.
Give me one. Good. Savings and loans. What kind of banks? Who said commercial? It speaks. Commercial banks, savings and loans.
Credit union.
Credit unions, one more. And what kind of banks exist really to accommodate real estate?
Credit unions.
No.
Saving banks.
Very good. Savings banks. So you got commercial banks, and then the 2 that I had you guys put, I didn't have put stars here, but the 2 that I want you guys to focus on, it was on the graphic I gave you guys, were credit unions and commercial banks. Those are the ones that you guys will most likely be dealing with. Okay? Savings and loans, they have a really bad reputation. Well-deserved reputation for really screwing people over in the 90s. But, unfortunately, there were some savings and loans that were run by really reputable people who, because of it, took a huge hit. Because the industry, or that aspect of the industry, took a big hit. Yes? Sure. Okay. So we got these kinds of banks, and now I also want to talk about, we'll do stock markets when we get back on Monday, but I want to hear what kind of services do banks offer. So give me one service. I'm going to point to you, I'll call out your name, and you give me one service. Samantha, what is one service that a bank offers its customers? Something like what? And if you guys have a bank account, think about the services that you guys have privilege to. I need money, but it's kind of dangerous to carry cash around with me all the time.
I know.
So what am I going to use?
Or don't know about bank accounts.
Don't know about bank accounts? Okay, yes.
Credit cards.
So banks do provide credit cards,
Debit cards.
debit cards, ATMs. Debits and ATMs. So this is a card that you could use at an ATM machine, or you could use at most stores. Okay? You had your hand up. Give me another service besides ATM/debit.
Loans.
Loans. Loans for things like what, Andrew? For anything you want, guys. I took out a loan to pay off my children's braces. I think I announced that last year where I said I just finished paying off my son's braces. That was so nice.
But don't you have to pay back?
I did. I took out a loan, I paid some interest, and I paid off both my son and my daughter. My son's cost about $6,000, my daughter's cost $7,500. And I took out loans at the time and I paid them off.
Was it more than what you took out?
Yes. I had to pay interest, so that's the thing. You take out a loan, there's going to be an interest rate. Okay, and it's compounded daily. Right, little bits of it. You get these little tiny, so when you see the loan now, it creeps up. It's really incremental, but it creeps up, and the next thing you know, it's like I put in this money, but I still have this. It's like I have the amount of money that I borrowed, plus here's the money I'm paying on interest. But, sometimes you do. I don't have $10,000 cash laying around. I mean, I have to model a lot of underwear to get that, you know what I'm saying? Hey, give me another service. So we got loans. So you can take out small loans and you can take out big loans. We take out a really big loan. What's the M word that relates to that? Really big loan for a house.
Mortgage.
You guys remember, so you get a mortgage on a house, okay? And you can use that mortgage to get loans. Like, let's say you bought a house and you've paid off a lot of that house. Let's say you pay it off completely. So you got that house you could take out a second mortgage on that house to pay off, say, your children's college funds. Okay? But if you can't pay that off, what will happen to your house, Ernesto? You'll get evicted by whom? The bank. So they'll put a lien on your house. Okay? So you're going to use your house as collateral. So let's say you need $100,000 to pay for your child's medical school at Stanford University. All right? I paid off my house. I'm living on retirement. Take out a second mortgage. Pay off my kid's medical school. All right. And that's fine and dandy. Just make sure you can pay it off, or you might lose your house. Give me another. What's another? So you got loans, both big and small. You got ATMs. You got mortgages. You have credit cards. What else? You guys remember from yesterday?
Debit cards.
Debit. We already covered that. ATM/debit. What did I tell you guys about my ex-wife's jewelry?
Oh, fun box or something.
Very good. Not called a fun box. Might be to my ex-wife. It's called a safe deposit box.
Yeah.
Banks also have safe deposit box for you. And people will keep, and not just jewelry, guys, they'll keep really important documents in their safe deposit boxes. Okay?
I have a question.
Sure.
So I had a safe deposit box at Bank of America a long time ago, and it was not insured. If that bank was robbed, and somebody went into the safe deposit vault and broke into the boxes, your contents were not insured.
Okay.
And I don't know if that's true for all banks.
I don't, so here's what I think. The FDIC insures your money up to, let's say it's $125,000 right now. I don't know what we'll look at.
That's money.
We'll talk about it in money. Okay. So, see, I always thought it's $125,000 of your assets, which would include money. Now, that was my assumption, but I don't know that because A, I don't have a safe deposit box.
Not a tissue.
Yes. I don't have a safe deposit box, so I don't know. So we would have to look that up. I guess, you would look at the terms. You guys ever hear the expression, always read the fine print?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You would have to look at the fine
It's signing
print.
in in blue.
I was really surprised when I found that out, and they wouldn't let me, there was no insurance to purchase for it, because I paid like $100 a year for it or something. And they said, well, can I purchase like an extra? No, there is no insurance. The insurance is that it's in the bank and it's locked.
You know where I keep all of my most important jewels? In my underwear. Get it, family? No? You guys don't get that? Family jewels? You guys never heard? Okay, never mind.
Wait, so are you asking to get robbed?
Yeah.
I'm gonna
You
look.
gotta tell me that one. That
No, I don't
was
think
a good one. That's a freaking good one. Here's what I said. We're talking about safe deposit boxes. And I said, you know where I keep my most important jewels? In my underwear.
Oh my god.
Okay?
Wait,
Get it? Family jewels.
Here, you know what? We bought a safe, a huge safe, that's fireproof and everything.
Yes,
It's
you
literally huge, on Black Friday for $599. It was like a $1,200 safe. And I figured my jewelry's safer in that than it would be in a bank that's not insured. Because if somebody comes into my house, they gotta get through the dogs first.
Do you guys understand why
I
Black
think the
Friday?
dogs would lick.
The dogs will eat them.
No, they would be put down.
Okay.
The dogs aren't the only thing they have to get through. Hey, Miss Spanish.
Oh, what did you just say to me?
Sorry.
Okay, stop what you're doing. Go put that down. Get a no. Go put it down. No. Go put it down.
There
What did
is
I
no
tell you?
label.
Go. Take the test. Go put it back. Get a piece of paper before you can do anything else. You don't have to say right now. Go. Come sit right here. You sit right here. You're going to write me an essay about why you should not always say sorry.
Sorry.
FBI.
Did you need to say sorry just then? What are you doing? What were you doing? You were handing her a test that you finished after having been sent here, right? There's nothing to apologize for. Quit apologizing to me.
Sorry.
You need to say sorry more often.
What?
You don't know how to say sorry. No, you know how you say sorry, you come back the next day and you come back. That's how I know you feel bad. Alright, so we just did our review. Nice job, you guys. When you guys come back, we're gonna talk stock markets. We're gonna talk stock markets and then we're done for the rest of the semester. We're gonna go back to budget. Hey guys, you realize you seniors, you're almost done with, I mean, you guys have very little school left. When you guys come back, you will be in your last month of school.
When I come back to school, I was like, when it's the last day, I want you to bring your truck, okay?
Let me bring my truck.
Yeah, don't be surprised when the wheels are gone.
Well, why would you say that?
Yeah, why did you tell me that?
Then now he's not gonna bring his truck.
He is on
Yes.
why?
I
I'm gonna
just
forget.
FDIC
Why did he have bonus? He's
website.
gonna forget.
FDIC insurance covers only deposit accounts.
Okay, there you go, there's your answer.
Don't
And what does
expect
the
the bank to
FDIC,
reimburse you for
what does the
theft or damage.
FDIC cover, oh, how much right now?
It used to be 100,000.
Does it say, will you look it up, please?
Yes, I will. It's not on this website, it's about safe deposit.
Wait, is next month June?
Just so you guys know, the FDIC,
In May?
okay, is the federal
Yes, you covered rural
federal,
too much money.
Why did he stand like that?
250 per depositor, $250,000.
I thought it was up,
It
250.
used to be 100.
So do you guys understand what that means? The FDIC is an it's a government insurance policy that was created out of the nightmare that was the Great Depression. When there was a run on money and people showed up at the bank to get their money so they could buy food and couldn't get it because there was no money. There were people who literally walked around the corner and shot themselves in the head. They were so depressed because they realized they were going to have to come back and tell their family, there is no money, I can't feed you.
They lost their homes, they lost
They
their
lost
cars.
everything. So the
Because
federal
they lost their
government,
money.
so FDR created these programs to make sure that some stuff like that doesn't happen again. So out of that came the FDIC. And so what it is, it's basically, because the federal government, look, you guys banking, our banks doing well is good for the economy, okay? You want to be able to take out loans to start businesses. You want to be able to take out loans to buy cars and houses. That keeps different industries humming along. You want to be able to put in money and make money off of it. And all of those potential, all of those possibilities exist through your banks. If things are done right, okay?
Well, FDIC insurance does not cover stocks, bonds, mutual funds, life insurance policies, annuities, or securities.
We already said what it covers, only
Only
deposit.
deposited amount.
So what they do is they ensure that your money, so if a bank gets robbed or something happens, the federal government will make sure that up to $250,000 of your money deposited in the bank is insured. Okay? You alright? What is going on? Okay. Hey, so you guys wanted SID. What do you want SID about?
Come to the door.
What time is it?
Maybe 5 minutes.
Alright.
Just 5 minutes?
Here you go, Mr. Wallace.
What'd you guys like the SID about? What would you like the FDIC about?
FDIC. It's the Federal Depository Insurance Commission.
Oh,
Why doesn't Chris take this class?
what's that?
Why doesn't Chris take this class?
Take it like,
I
teach it?
need it. He teaches understandable economics. Yeah, you know
Thank you,
what?
because I don't know what the hell I'm
This
talking
can be a really hard subject with
If
all
I'm
those
a-
graphs and stuff.
Can I stay in here?
about. 3 hours.
Savage.
No. Go to Savage, we'll call you when everybody's here. Okay. Just in case, you know.
No, you really don't do anything.
I have a
All
hard
you do is the local
Alright, that's fine. I'll let her know you're gonna stay, okay?
Ernesto, I am taking classes this summer.
You're gonna be a freaking student.
My cousin will be a student. I am going to take real estate
You
classes.
get a lot done, huh? Nice. Oh, Nick, boy, it's a party now.
Oh, it's a party now.
Are you heading up to Ludwig's?
No, not that.
What?
I said, asked if you're heading up to Ludwig's. Are you?
Maybe.
Yes.
I told you that Mr. Wallace has 9 reports.
But David's the most smiling.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna email Mr. Asher. Where's your test? Mr. Wallace?
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna email Mr. Asher and let him know that we're keeping Rita's test till Monday. You can't find what?